Hi, today I'm going to talk about presentation skills and I will help you prepare an excellent presentation. This is basically an introduction to academic skills for both business and management. So we will talk about the purpose of giving a presentation, what makes a good presentation, common challenges that we face when preparing a presentation, and then I'll give you some generic advice. So maybe, first of all, I would like you to think about why do we give presentations? Let me answer that question for you. We need to prepare presentation in order to prepare ourselves for the world of work. Also, presentations are required in every field. This is also an excellent personal development opportunity for us, and it may be, as is in many cases, a form of assessment. So a presentation usually includes key elements such as a purpose. You have a purpose when you present something. Then you need to decide on the relevant content that is relevant to your purpose. You need to think about the design, the delivery, and then keep in mind that practice makes perfect. So what you need to do is to reflect on the purpose of your presentation. So is this presentation to inform, is to train, persuade, show your ability, entertain, demonstrate, okay? So please keep that into consideration. That is the purpose of your presentation when designing your presentation. Let's have a look at this assignment brief for CEI module. This is a level 7 module. So what you're asked to do is to prepare a PowerPoint presentation. The presentation should include 12 slides, a cover slide, and then 2 slides for each one of the sections. 2 slides for the value proposition, 2 for the key activities, 2 for the customer segments, 2 for the customer relationships, and 2 for the cost structure. And then at the end, there should be a slide with your references. The module leader here asks you to use one graphical illustration and bullet points, 4 to 6 in each one of the slides that you need to prepare. So you need to take instructions into consideration when preparing a presentation in terms of one of your modules. Let's talk about presentations in general again. How can we say that a specific presentation is a good one? What makes a presentation good? First of all, good content. So you need to prepare a presentation and this needs to be well researched. So you need to conduct some research, find information that is relevant and interesting, and you need to include that in your presentation. Then there should be a clear structure, a logical sequence. Then delivery is very important if you need to deliver that. So people should be able to listen to you, so you need to be audible. You need to be at ease, and you need to be in charge of the presentation. Please bear in mind, no one is born a perfect presenter. Presentation skills are skills that you learn, okay? So basically a presentation is an art and a technique which can be learned, and this is why you are watching this presentation. So, presentations. Let's talk about planning the content. What you need to do is to brainstorm ideas and points to be included, filter out the key points, plan your line of reasoning, make sure that there is logical flow, rehearse everything, and then set realistic targets. That is the time to research and the time to present and to prepare for the presentation. And please Keep a detailed a bibliographical record of all the sources that you have used. So the things that you need to take into consideration is you need to know your subject. So it is important that you have thought and researched about the subject on which your presentation is based. You cannot present confidently and successfully if your knowledge of the material is sketchy, but it is not really a memory test. So also try conducting an idea storm of the subject. This could be done either electronically or using paper and pen. Place the subject word or words and perhaps several related keywords in the center of a large piece of blank paper or screen, and then jot down or type everything you know that is at all relevant to the subject. Once you can see your ideas, you can begin to identify relationships between them by making connections, perhaps highlighting them in different colors to represent particular themes. You also need to be focused. You will now have a basic map of the material that will form the basis of your presentation. However, one of the most common mistakes that presenters make is to try to communicate to an audience everything they know about a subject. This is not possible, and this is not effective. Your presentation must be focused. From the pieces of information and ideas that you have gathered, select those which are essential. They will form the backbone of your presentation. So you also need to prioritize the information. So next, you need to organize your essential material in terms of relative importance. Which of the ideas should take center stage and which are supporting ideas. You can also organize the remaining non-essential information according to significance. Which bits might be a good idea to include if possible, and which bits might you revise in case of questions. Remember that you will almost certainly have to discard some of your original material. You should aim to cover essential material repeatedly rather than attempting to cram everything in. This is the start of a structure to your presentation. Please keep that into consideration. Next, what you need to do is to plan the storyline. So every presentation has a plot. So you begin with the issue or the problem, you present the background, you develop your argument, you present a case study or examples to support your argument, and you conclude. For the CEI module, you need to include all these 5 elements, okay, and include 2 slides for each one of these 5 elements, as you can see in your assignment brief. Next thing that you need to focus on is planning format. So you need to know your content. You need to structure your work. So include an introduction, 3 to 4 main points, and then the conclusion. Also, decide on support material. Moving on, there are some things that you need to do. There's some kind of etiquette. So, please, 1 key message per slide, not 3,000 ones. 1 slide per minute, more or less. Minimum words per slide applies. So, use also the language. So, also pay attention to the language that you use on the slide. It needs to be clear. Use larger fonts. 24 plus would be preferable. Readable fonts like Arial, Calibri, or Verdana. Be consistent also. Use it in all your slides. Don't change fonts in every one of your slides. Also, use graphics and diagrams to explain or support your argument. So remember, you need to be accurate, brief, and clear. And then, don't overload your slides. Try not to mix the font in your slides. Also, don't use unreadable backgrounds, light colors, light background, for example. You don't use graph as decoration. They should be there because there is a reason and you should be discussing them. Don't overuse animations and sounds. and they cause some kind of distraction. And then please keep it simple, avoid distortions, and avoid reading your slides. You need to say a few more words about your slides rather than what your audience can see. Also, have a look at this. You want to avoid this. Don't include slides like this. You cannot read anything here. And this also not a good use of background. Fonts are inconsistent, so many mistakes. Now let me tell you a few things regarding the use of visual aids and supporting materials. The visual aids and supporting materials can be helpful, but remember that technology cannot compensate for a lack of content or preparation. The key is not to get carried away. Ask yourself, does this add anything to the presentation? Only include features that will improve the effectiveness of your communication with the audience. As a general rule, supporting materials should be concise, not longer or more detailed than required, well organized, relevant, user-friendly. If your handouts are intended for use during the presentation, think, for example, whether you could process the information on them at the same time as looking at the screen and listening to a speaker. If not, they need revision. And then they should be legible. Okay, everything should be easily read by your audience. Also, have a look at this. You cannot possibly read. Okay, the total number of words per slide should be under 25. More than 25 words, edit the text. Remember that you need to focus on content, okay? Don't use too many words. Don't use too much detail. The key information and concepts are what matter most in a presentation. And then avoid untidy layout. Remember, you should you should check your material for spelling and grammar. A chart or a graph is worth a million statistics. Always convert figures into something that represents their significance both visually. And remember that you need to provide your audience with the best that you can. Have a look at this. See here, 24-point font, 48 here. Use something that is, you need to make sure that your slides are legible. They should be easy to read. They should be reader friendly. What you need to remember, summarizing this presentation, is that the material should be accessible. So you should use clear fonts, check the visibility. Please remember that dark on light works well. Keep colors conservative. Keep the layout consistent. Don't change your font, your structure. This causes distraction. Use key points and spend more time delivering these points. So don't read from your slides. And don't forget, don't ever use capitals. It's as if you are shouting at your audience. And this is not very polite. Also, keep it simple. Maybe include one image and 4 or 5 bullet points. Limit the number of items per slide. Not a lot of slides. Make sure you keep in mind that you need to spend at least 1 minute per slide and avoid too much animation. This distracts your audience, and they don't focus so much on your content, but rather on the animation itself. This is a good example of what you can include. An image and then your bullet points, up to 6. 4 to 5 I think is fine, but no more than that. So to conclude my presentation, be prepared, know your subject, and stay calm. This is a list of further activities that you can have a look at if you need some more help regarding presentation skills. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please send me an email. I will be happy to respond to any query that you might have. Thank you.